Hello class, this is 10.2 Sparta and Athens, assignment number 61. Our three main ideas for this lesson are: number one, the Spartans built a military society to provide security and protection. Two, the Athenians admired the mind and the arts in addition to physical abilities. And three, Sparta and Athens fought over who should have power and influence in Greece. So the first section is on Spartans build a military society. Spartan society was dominated by the military. They were very extreme about their military and who they allowed in it. They were so extreme that if a baby boy was born unhealthy, he was killed. They would leave him outside the city to die because they didn't see him fit for the Spartan army and the Spartan society. Boys trained from a young age, running, jumping, swimming. They built their strength and toughness. They weren't given shoes. They were given little food. They were encouraged to steal to survive. And soldiers lived apart from their families between ages of 20 and 30. Even if they were married, they lived apart from them. And they often fought in the Spartan army until they were 60 years old. Spartan women had more rights than other Greek women because their men were always off fighting, so they had to take care of business in the city. They owned land, and they also learned to jump, run, wrestle, and increase their strength. The Spartan government, there were two kings that led the army, and then elected officials ran the city-state. And Spartan government had to work really hard to control the helots. They were slaves, and they way outnumbered the Spartans themselves, so they had to do whatever they could to control the helots. As it says here, helots grew all the crops. Spartan government was set up to control the city's helots. Helots lived horrible lives and worked very hard. And helots outnumbered Spartans, but fear of the army kept them from rebelling. Now on to Athenians, the Athenian Society. So Athenians admire the mind. They valued education, clear thinking, the arts, and also physical training, just not as extreme as the Spartans did. It was a very creative city-state with lots of opportunities for males, which is important. And they believed in the good life. They believed in wealth and luxury, unlike the Spartans, who encouraged their people to, they did what they had to survive. They didn't think it was important to live comfortable lives. In Athens, young boys received less harsh physical training. They only joined the army for 2 years from ages 18 to 20. They learned to read, write, count, sing, and play instruments, boys and men did. Boys from rich families received longer, more complex educations, and they were often taught public speaking to prepare them for the assembly. Poor boys did not receive any education, and then there were the Athenian women, who had almost no rights at all, especially when compared to the Spartan women. They were responsible for the household tasks like weaving and sewing. They could not serve in the government. They could not leave their homes. They could not buy anything or own property or disobey their husbands or their fathers. There's this little cartoon on here. I am an Athenian woman, and I don't really do much. I take care of my children and clean the house. We can't attend school, so we stay at home with our mother and learn how to run the household. So that kind of summarizes their lives. The final section is on Sparta and Athens fight. Athens and Sparta fought together against the Persians, so they had a common enemy in the Persian Wars. But after this war is where the trouble began. Athens formed an alliance with other city-states called the Delian League. And Athens was kind of like the strong, by far they were the strongest of the in the Delian League. So Athens' navy, right, which is they fight on the water, protected Greece. They were the strongest member by far, and Athens began treating other members as its subjects because it was kind of high on its own power, right? Um, the other big city-state was Sparta, and Sparta and other city-states formed the Peloponnesian League, their own sort of alliance. Worried about Athens, the Spartans declared war. The Spartans surrounded Athens and burned their crops. But the Athenian navy brought Athens food and attacked Spartan allies. However, eventually Sparta and Athens agreed to a truce. But the fighting kind of picked up, sporadically in the following years, and eventually Sparta won. Sparta was the stronger of the two city-states. And Sparta ruled over Greece for 30 years, but then it kind of shifted from city-state to city-state, taking power of Greece. So the big idea for this section is that the two most powerful city-states in Greece, Sparta and Athens, had very different cultures and became bitter enemies in the 400s BC.